TD Day. For those of you who celebrate such things, this is the 2 Point Conversion, episode 1.5, with your two co hosts, me, Gladys Louise, and him.
Jay Eubanks at JBank2727
Yeah, on Twitter. We
on
got
Twitter.
that. On Twitter.
Brand new.
We're going to do a little Super Bowl recap for you. Maybe a little anti Valentine's Day rant. I don't know. That could happen. And we're going to start, though, with what is up with the Super Bowl commercials. They sucked so bad this year. I mean, the best commercial was Idris Elba, and it's because it was Idris Elba. I mean, I don't even know what he was hawking, although the kitten commercial but it's an extension of another commercial where the cat, everyone like is amazed by what this cat does, is pretty good. But I'm telling you, that Uber Eats commercial
That was weird.
Oh my God, it was so bad. And it's still playing during the Olympics, and it's making me very, very sad. Quick note, I should have said earlier, if you're watching on Twitter and you want to send comments in, we can't see them. There's something going on. I don't know. I barely made it on here, so I don't know what the Twitter thing is about. So you need to go to YouTube or whatever, anything but Twitter, apparently. Okay, so I'm gonna say that even the movie films coming out, I have no desire to run to the theater. Although the one Channing Tatum and Brad Pitt would make me walk quickly, but I have no desire to run to the theater to see any of the movies. It was just there was no good. There was I don't know. That's my opinion. There were no good commercials, except of course for Idris Elba, and that he could like be reading. Like I didn't even know.
Yeah, you can literally just sit there and watch
Exactly.
Idris
Well,
Elba
you'd have to
just
talk.
discussion.
You'd have to talk. That English accent really helps. But the Uber Eats was so ugh. Like I didn't think any commercial would make me hate TV as much as the progressive commercials do, and that one did. Like what is
The
happening?
progressive commercials. That's the one with Flo.
Yeah.
The girl. She reminds me of the mom from Problem Child back in the day. That movie. Yeah, the commercials were pretty bad. They were pretty bad. You know what commercials are for real sports fans, though. That's the bathroom break / give me another beer, type
Super
thing.
Bowl is supposed to be a little bit above that. Super Bowl is supposed to be,
Supposed to be.
oh yeah, let's wait and see the Super Bowl commercials because they're gonna be so great. Full disclosure, like the pregame commercials, I didn't see because I was watching the Puppy Bowl, which I do every year because it's awesome. But I guess they couldn't have been any. I mean, why would you play the best commercials during the Puppy Bowl and not during the game? You know what I mean? The
Maybe
commercials were
they
just bad.
knew. Maybe they knew that there was a lot of people watching the Puppy Bowl. There were a lot of people who were a little bit opposed to the Super Bowl because of the halftime show. This very distinct audience of people wanted to talk to the management about the noise complaints. So instead of watching the halftime, they were gonna watch the Puppy Bowl, and so maybe the NFL was like, yeah, we might get the little ones here over
Ugh.
there. I
I
did
don't
the
know if I
only
should
commercial
say.
I did like. I did like the Doritos commercial. I thought that was a little bit funny with the hot Cheetos or whatever
Oh,
it is
okay.
they were eating.
That was interesting. Yes, I
Yeah,
have to give you that. That was an interesting commercial and had good music to it. But since you segued into there, let's talk about the halftime show. Did
ooh,
you like it?
I did like it.
I know, right?
I thought it
Like,
was. I thought it was awesome. Um, just because I work in Long Beach, and there was a time where I would catch the Blue Line, the Metro Blue Line, going into Long Beach, and that route, literally right there where all of the sets, it rolls through Compton, right where you make sure that your wallet's in a secure position and all that type of stuff. But yeah, you see all of those buildings, right? You look to the right, you see the Compton, the courthouse, and then the buildings there. So it was very nostalgic. They were bagging on my boy 50 Cent a little bit. They said he came out looking like 75 cents.
He was swole. He was.
It was small. But
He
then I
was.
thought to myself, when did that song come out? What, 2005 ish?
Yeah.
Six? I mean, I didn't, hey, let's just say that I look a little bit different now than I did
Well, who
back then.
doesn't? Who doesn't?
Right.
You
But I
know.
loved it. I loved the halftime show. I thought it was fun. I thought that they came out. It was a lot of energy. At that point in time, for me as a Rams fan, I needed that because I was like, oh boy,
Were you panicking?
I was panicking. The Bengals watched our podcast last week and they were like using the script that I gave them to beat us.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. They probably bootlegged the podcast and are like,
And
"This is what we
they
need to do.
going
This
for
is
two. Why
this
going
is
for
what we
two?
need to
Because we
do."
can't go for three. They
This.
watched it.
Uh, okay, let's get to the Super Bowl. Let's get to the game. You go, because I know that you were like I had no dog in that fight. I wanted to see a few people get the ring, and Joe Burrow has his time coming. Maybe, who knows? But you go, because you had a dog in that fight. You were
I had a dog in that fight, and it was a fun game for me. I loved it. I had a good time, with the family. But the game itself was a little bit stressful for me. So it just goes to like my points because I got like two of them right now, and then my
okay.
rant. So yeah,
Good.
my first point I want to make this was to the Bengals fans out there. No, I'm not going to pick on the Bengals. I like them like that, but don't tug on Superman's cape, right? Because all right, so the game is going on, and the Rams come out like on fire. Odell Beckham, in my opinion, and if Odell Beckham doesn't get hurt in that game, he was on his way to becoming a Super Bowl MVP, right?
Right.
I
I
mean, he
agree.
had two catches. I think he had two catches for 55 and a hush, and
Yeah.
he looked like he was going to go for 300 yards. And so there's all of this energy, and then he gets hurt, and then the energy's gone, and the Rams look completely deflated. The game plan just stopped. It looked like McVay basically made it a point that Odell Beckham Jr. was going to be part of the game plan. And then we started turning to the pumpkin. And I had shades of the matches between the 49ers right there, right? Where I'm watching the Bengals. They're being really physical with the Rams, which is how I said you got to beat the Rams, right? They've been really physical with them. Joe Mixon's running hard. He had 4.8 yards a carry. And Joe Burrow wasn't doing too much, but he was doing just enough. And I was scared. I was nervous. We go into right before half. I think the Bengals scored a touchdown, right, with the little halfback pass, Joe Mixon,
Joe Mixon
touchdown
pass.
pass. And so the score is 13-10 going into halftime. And if you watch the two teams going into halftime, okay, you would think that the Rams were losing that game. They just looked completely dejected. The Bengals, they had their helmets on. They're running into there. And so we're in halftime. We're limping out. And then in the start of the third quarter, all hell breaks loose, right? I mean, Dr. Dre didn't even finish putting down his mic. And you got Joe Burrow, before you look up, they're throwing a 75-yard bomb to T. Higgins, which I'm going to talk about later. But they throw the bomb to T. Higgins, and all of a sudden, all the momentum is completely with the Bengals. They're feeling themselves. They're cocky a little bit. I mean, the Logan Wilson was having like the game of his life. Hendrickson was a monster. The Bengals was playing defense, and I always thought they had an underrated defense, but they were really starting to impose their will on the Rams. And then it happened, and so they scored that touchdown. And Matthew Stafford, the very next play, right, the very next possession, throws an interception,
Right.
right? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Okay, and they were like all the momentum's with the Bengals right now, and then it happens. Joe Burrow's running, and he goes towards the sideline, and Aaron Donald pushes him out of bounds, and then he sends the dude like flying. I mean, like probably about 4 or 5 feet into out of bounds. And then all the Bengals offensive linemen start surrounding Aaron Donald. And there's some of them threw punches. I saw about 3 of them throw punches. And that was the first time all game up until that point where I saw Aaron Donald have a little bit of fire there. And he came back out. I wrote it down. The Bengals went, after that happened, right? The Bengals got 47 total yards after that happened in the beginning of the third quarter. Aaron Donald basically made it a point that they were going to win on his back. He had no sacks. That was his first sack of the game. And then the Rams got 7 sacks on Joe Burrow. All of them started with that one. And to me, that was just Aaron Donald just saying, you know what, this is my time. I got to go and get it. I'm the leader. And I don't think that happens if they let the sleeping dog lie, right? If they don't kind of rile up Aaron Donald a little bit, because that aggression that he started to push, it was one play where he pushed like 3 Bengals like back like 9 yards and got to Joe Burrow for a 9-yard sack. The defense started to really come around. And I was like, okay, the defense they're doing their part. I'm just waiting for Matthew Stafford. So to me, I think that Aaron Donald solidified himself as one of the greatest defensive players ever to play the game. I think that it was just a defining moment for him where he was like, I've come too far. I think maybe he made things as he's talking about retiring now. So maybe this was his only chance. And he went out there and he seized it.
Two things. One, I was listening to something on ESPN, like Just Bets, and they were saying that because of when the Writers Association has to bet for, or has to put in their notice for who should be MVP, it was before Aaron Donald got hot.
Yeah.
And he should, and I agree, he should have been MVP of that. He should have been MVP of the game. And 2, I saw a post game with Donald, and he said as long as Sean McVay's there, he's staying.
All right. Running back 99. Let's go.
But weren't there rumors that Sean McVay wanted to spend more time with his family, his fiance, or whoever the chick is?
I don't blame him.
I think that maybe, but and then someone specifically asked Sean McVay, are you retiring? Because wasn't that a rumor before the game that McVay might retire too? And he just said no. He was like, no, I'm not retiring.
Yeah, so he's one of the youngest coaches. Was it 36 or something?
Coach going to Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron Donald, and it's really hard for a defensive player to win MVP anyway. And because they have to be absolutely brilliant, literally or they have to make like these major plays. But I just see that was where the tide turned for me, because up until that point, I was like, the Rams are not only losing this game, but I called a blowout before the game. I just thought that it was going to be the Rams and they were on the path to blowing the Rams out because they had no momentum. We couldn't move the ball. Odell Beckham's gone. Matthew Stafford, he's walking around. His eyes are all big. And I had some nightmares of when he was with the Lions there. And Aaron Donald just simply would not let the team lose. It reminded me of, like, remember the Titans when they were getting cheated? And then the coach tells them, if a receiver crosses the line of scrimmage, oh, so help you God. They scored. They had 47 more yards the rest of the game. 47.
I think the argument is that but for Aaron Donald and that front line, you would have lost that game.
Yeah.
I mean, that has to, first of all, I don't know why Pirine was in the game and why he was throwing a pass and why Pirine didn't at least dive for that ball. But, yeah, but for Aaron Donald, you guys would have lost that game, I think.
Yeah, we would have. We would have, and I'm aware of that. I think that a lot of people who like really follow football can really see that, because the offenses get all the glory, and we always say the same: defense wins championships, right? And that's what you saw. You saw that right there. That even the Bengals defense, they were playing lights out. If the Bengals would have won, it was not because their offense; it was because their defense was absolutely incredible. I mean, they were – I thought for a second that the 49ers had put on Bengals uniforms, that it was that bad for me as a Rams fan.
Well, I mean, I thought it was going to be a low-scoring game because I thought both defenses would stand up. and I thought it kind of materialized like that. But I'm not. I don't think a I don't think a missed ref call, like one missed ref call or two miss, actually sways the game. Because I mean, except for the last call where they called offense and defensive penalty, the Rams clearly were they the Rams offense clearly moved. I mean, neither one of those calls should have been called because I'm pretty sure it was the right tackle. He clearly moved before the ball snapped.
Yeah, it was a false start.
Yeah.
But and that's on my rant, by the way. I want to talk about the refs
okay.
in the rant. But yeah, no, it was definitely a defensive game. That game was won in the trenches on both sides. I said it coming into the game that I felt that the Bengals defense was a little bit underrated. I think that they started to really gel about the halfway mark in the season, probably around week 10 or so. The Bengals defense really started to show up more. They started getting a lot of pressure. They started disguising a little bit fronts. They confused Matthew Stafford a little bit. I was getting mad at Stafford because I was like, if you don't stop throwing the ball to number 18, I'm not even gonna call him his name. I'm just gonna call him number 18. Maybe, and I was talking to my buddy. I was like, maybe he thinks that's Cooper Kupp because he just, I don't know what that was all about. He cannot be the Ram. The Rams have to have another receiver behind Van Jefferson. If that's the case, then the Rams were that thin coming into the game. That was not a good look. We got lucky.
So you're gonna have two, and Beckham's not for sure, but you're having two wide receivers coming back with ACL injuries, both coming back from ACL injuries. Robert Woods isn't going anywhere, for sure. I mean,
now we owe him too much money.
Yeah, and Beckham will probably go somewhere.
See, I think that the injury for Odell Beckham keeps him with the Rams because I think that had he gone on, right, had he not getting hurt in that game, he would have gone on to have a spectacular game. Like I said, I think he would have been the MVP. He would have, I mean, he looked unstoppable. And then you're looking at the body of work. Wait a minute. This guy's not this toxic player, right? That everybody was portraying him to be. He got along great with the Rams. He came in there, he picked up the playbook. He had 7 touchdowns and from the time that he was there. And then he has this amazing Super Bowl. So I think that he would have actually played himself out of the contract for the Rams. I don't think that they would have been able to afford to keep him. Then he gets hurt, and now his value goes. And I think that he's going to come back with the Rams because of that. I think the Rams will take care of him. They'll give him a little bit more than he would get on the market. And I'm looking forward to him coming back. I think that my heart broke. I never seen a player that he looked pretty dejected on the sideline. That was hard to watch. But I think that the injury did kind of solidify him coming back to the Rams.
See, I almost think the opposite. I think that, especially if you guys are going to make another run for another Super Bowl, which, by the way, the odds for all you who bet, the odds are out on DraftKings Sportsbooks for next year's Super Bowl champion. Rams are like 4th. Like, it's Chiefs, Bills, 49ers.
Still drinking the Mahomes Kool-Aid, huh?
The Rams are like, yeah. So I don't think first of all, do you want two wide receivers, both who suffered ACL injuries? Granted, Woods was earlier, so his rehab should be, but two wide receivers who both Beckham, as soon as he knew right away that he was hurt. So
have they officially classified it as an ACL? I know that was the fear, but I haven't read anything that it was officially.
No, No, it was like a list of injuries. So Weddle, shoulder, Beckham, ACL, Burrow, MCL sprain.
Number
Someone else.
18, Dropsies, Hands of Stone.
Oh my god, it wasn't that bad.
It
It
was
wasn't
that
that
bad.
bad.
He
You think
caused the interception. He caused the interception to that interception that Matthew Stafford threw right after the Bengals. You're
it
running
was?
across the middle, right? So anybody who's ever and this is Pop Warner football, right? You know, if you're a receiver, you're coming across the middle like that. If you can't catch the ball, you hit it down. You don't pop the ball up in the air. There's too many people around you in the middle of the field. And he hands of stone, it hits him right on the hand in stride, and which Matthew Stafford didn't do a lot of. He wasn't hitting people. In fact, the reason why Odell Beckham got hurt is because
He was
Stafford
reaching
threw
for
the
that,
ball a little bit behind him, right?
right?
So that made like an awkward plant. But this one hit him on the hands. Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's talk about Jalen Ramsey and his night, because I've always been on
Mhm.
Jalen Ramsey train. Like I think that he is one of the better cornerbacks in football. But right, like
He
he probably did get face masked by T. Higgins. That probably happened.
probably,
And well, it wasn't called, so I mean,
yeah, much to the Skip Bayless had a whole little oh my
uh,
goodness. Ooh, yeah. But
anyway,
yeah, I think
but
Jalen Ramsey had a very Jalen Ramsey game as of late. I think that you asked me last week, right? How do I think maybe when you or Kyle asked me last week, how do I feel about how confident am I in the Rams secondary? And I said, I'm not
right,
confident in the Rams secondary because Jalen Ramsey gambles. Jalen Ramsey likes to gamble a lot. The one play where Jamar Chase had I mean, he actually runs out of sidelines. The Rams got lucky on that play because if Jamar Chase plants and then just continues on his route, that's a touchdown. Jalen
right.
Ramsey jumped it because he thought it was just a curl route. Which I think if Burrow would have saw that, or if Chase would have even saw that, and he would have just changed his route up a little bit, that was a touchdown. And he's been gambling like that for a long time. I think that the Rams don't have the assistance that because he used to do that when he was with Jacksonville when he had AJ Boye on the other side there, and so he was able to do that because Boye could cover. The Rams don't have anybody like that, and so when he gambles like that, he really leaves us exposed on the backside, and he got burned, and he's been getting burned.
So per NFL Next Gen Stats, Jalen Ramsey has allowed 126 yards in coverage on 3 receptions in that game.
Wow.
Just in that game. So
And it didn't matter. It didn't matter which one because they was all getting them. Higgins got him, Chase got him.
yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah, Jalen Ramsey's talented, right? I don't want to come off like this guy's a bum, but I think that he's one of those players who thinks that he might be a little bit better than he is, and that allows him that freedom to make those plays that he probably shouldn't be trying to make. He was trying to win the game for them, and he almost cost us the game.
do you know who your free agents are coming up?
I haven't looked yet. I haven't really looked. I know that we got Beckham. It's a free agent
You're
coming
just
up.
like basking in the glory of the win.
Yeah. I'm just enjoying the moment right now.
Did you go to work today?
I did. I have to work today.
You didn't call
I
out?
did. No.
Look at
Well,
you.
luckily, I mean, I work from home mostly. So I had today was one of my days where I worked from home. So that kind of worked out in my favor a little bit. Um,
All right,
yeah.
so let's see. Ooh, wow. Besides the unrestricted free agents you have, the name value ones, because you have a lot. Von Miller, Odell Beckham,
Yeah.
Sony Michel. I would say Brandon Powell, but I'm not going to. So, what do you put your odds for another one, back to back?
For the Rams to win a Super Bowl back to back?
Oh, and you're like 13 million and change over the salary cap.
Yeah. My odds for the Rams, I told you last week that this was the year that the Rams had to win the Super Bowl.
Right?
I felt like they were all in for this game, and they got it. And now it's time to pay the piper. We are not going to be able to keep Von Miller. We're not going to be able to keep Sonny Michel. And, they got, Akers and Henderson back there,
Right.
as well. Weddle's gone. He's going to go back into retirement. Whitworth's gone.
How awesome is that? Give him a call, comes off the couch, plays, wins the Super Bowl ring, goes back on the couch.
Goes back out, right. Go back to, he's like a hero. But I don't think that the Rams are going to repeat. I definitely think that this was Super Bowl or bust, and we just happened to get the Super Bowl.
You just happened to get the Super Bowl.
We just happened to get it. Aaron Donald willed it. We snatched victory. We snatched victory from the jaws of defeat.
You're also losing 2 offensive linemen: Austin Corbett, Brian Allen.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's gonna
be nasty.
And then we don't draft. Right? We got no draft picks.
No draft picks.
Literally, this is a team that literally mortgaged their future for this moment. And as a Rams fan, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because it's different. See, I'm also a Lakers fan, and what the Lakers have done is how you don't do it, right? They got all of these players that don't mesh well together. We're not even going to talk about Russell Westbrook here. Anthony Davis, I used to have goo eyes over when he was in NOLA. And then when he's coming onto my team, I'm like, my gosh, man, every time that the kid jumps, I'm like holding my breath. I'm like, my goodness, this dude's like made out of like wet. He's made out of wet paper, not just paper. I'm like that's wet paper right there. And so, but the Rams did it right? They got talented players. They got players that can come in and make an impact instantly, which they did. I think we got lucky. With Odell Beckham. I don't even think the Rams knew what they were getting with Odell Beckham. I think we got lucky there, and I think we got lucky with Von Miller. But that's the whole thing. They played for it all this year and got it. Now it's back to obscurity of
one and done.
Yeah, back to being 10 and 9, and they got 18 games now, 17 games now, right? So going back to being like a 10 and 17.
Okay with one and done.
I'm okay with it.
Really?
It's been so long, right? It's been so long since LA has had a Super Bowl champion. Been a long time. I mean, the Rams left LA and they stole my heart when they left LA, in the 95, I think it was around that time. And they were gone for 20 plus years, 21 years or something like that. And so when the St. Louis championship, that doesn't count. That don't count to me.
No.
You know what I mean? That was Georgia Frontiera's championship. They don't count. We don't mention that name anymore here.
Okay.
The Rams coming back to LA though, then that mattered, right? In your stadium at SoFi, we went all in. You know what I mean? We made the trade, matched that. I'm okay with one and done. I'm okay.
Wow. See, as a Steeler, I don't think I could ever, if the Steelers mortgaged their future like that, I'd be pissed. I mean, and they kind of, I don't want to say gave up, but by holding on to Roethlisberger for the last 2 years, they kind of were the anti-Rams. Do you know what I mean? Like they were kind of like, okay, we're going to take 2 years where we know we're not going to make the playoff, where we know we're not going to go in the postseason because our quarterback sucks. Our quarterback has diminishing returns, exponentially diminishing returns on his arm. So we'll just give him those years. I to me, that's exactly what they did. And if they were to have said, what's the rumor now that Jimmy G's coming, or Aaron Rodgers are coming, as long as they keep everybody else intact, I don't consider that mortgaging the future. But if you have to give away Watt, a Deontay, to get a quarterback now because you didn't prepare, I would be pissed.
Right, but you're the Steelers, though. I mean, you guys have 6 championships, so
Yeah,
it's
we
not
do.
like the Steelers are haven't felt what it's like to win a Super Bowl. So it's been a long time for the Rams. Those championships are far and few between.
Yeah.
For the Rams, and so they had a window. They had a window to go after it. I honestly thought that they had a better team. With the top, but we now see just how much Jared Goff really hurt that team. With when we had the Todd Gurley looking amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wouldn't recommend this to teams that are like, no, because there's always that thing, right? When we talk about how do you rebuild, you do it like the Bengals, where you just draft good players, and now you make your mind. Are we going to compete and be elite and go for a Super Bowl, or are we going to try to be very good every year and see what happens, right? And I think that the Steelers, they're just a model of consistency. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. Just they always seem to, even though they're not good, they weren't that good this year. They were still in the mix. Where you're just like, how in the world did the Steelers still sneak in? I'm sitting there watching the Chargers and the Raiders, and I'm like, dude, just take the tie. Both of y'all get in. What are you doing?
That was awesome. That was an awesome game. Yeah, I mean, by all accounts, the Steelers shouldn't have made the playoffs. I mean, who was the Colts? Jacksonville?
Yeah, Jacksonville eliminated the Colts.
That was, I mean,
Bet you didn't see that one coming.
No one saw that coming. That was on no one's card. And then, for whatever reason, Chargers coach calling that timeout, and then Raiders deciding that they're going to just go for the win.
That was like the Raiders was like, oh wait, I thought we was on an agreement here, because they weren't being aggressive. Like, it was like, okay, we was trying to play nice, we was trying to play safe, you know what I'm saying? But y'all try to go out and get the win, yeah. So then, that was.
So this is what you get.
That was, he's a very very aggressive coach. That Chargers coach is, and I like it. I think that there are some times where it really calls for that, but I think I mentioned this in our just in our chats with you and Jeff on just in the Facebook chat, where you got to kind of know the room, right? You got to know the situation a little bit better. And I think that his confidence borders arrogance, and you haven't won anything yet to be that arrogant, and you're putting your team in a bad position. And if you're not careful, right, somebody else is going to be coaching Justin Herbert.
Well, I mean, I think he is an example of someone who relies too much on analytics and not enough on game time decision on what's happening around him. And I think that hopefully for the Chargers anyway, that postseason game he learned his lesson, but probably not, because I always have this image of coaches thinking that didn't work, not because of something else happened, because I'm way too smart to not have let that happen. Although I have to say that in the second half, when they kept showing Sean McVay, he looked worried. Like, he looked like a man who was on the verge of panic. Like, the cliff was like right there, and he was like, should I jump? Maybe, he
It's because the game plan was definitely Odell Beckham. One thing you notice about Sean McVay, McVay shows his game plan early in the game. We can see it. They were dynamic with Odell. Even in the times when he wasn't getting the ball, they were moving him around a lot. He was their game plan. And when that got taken away, it's like, oh snap, what do we do now? And then that changes everything, right? They're like double, triple teaming Cooper Cup. They're like basically saying the Rams, you can't run the ball on us. What do? We can't run it. So let's run it right up the middle, right into the Bengals defense. Cam Akers, no. Daryl Henderson, no. 18. I was like, McVay looked beat. He looked
yeah,
beat. And I think that he owes Aaron Donald because Aaron Donald rescued him. Because there was this moment in time where, McVay's another one of those guys. He's another one of those smartest guy in the room type coaches, right?
right,
And he's very stubborn to where he wants to see. We were talking about it like they were struggling so much. The Bengals were getting a lot of pressure. We had that ineffective wide receiver, man. Why didn't just go ahead and go two tight end set, right? Let's get an extra blocker out here. We're not going to be able to get the explosive plays anymore. Okay, so let's be efficient. Let's be efficient with the possessions. Let's change field position. He didn't want to do that. He still thinks that he had the Ferraris on the outside with Cooper Cup and Odell Beckham. And I don't know if he thinks that Rowan, whatever his name is, Rowan, I don't even know the kid's name. If he thinks that he's like a Cooper Cup light, but there was just that arrogance in the play calling where he didn't adjust until it was too late. Like in the fourth quarter, he basically said, and you could tell, and this is what I want to talk about next, Matthew Stafford, right?
right.
The lion becomes the king. I think that there was that point in time where Stafford just comes in and McVay's talking to him. It's just like, don't throw the ball to anybody else but Cooper Cup. I don't care. And I was even saying it as a fan. I was like, I don't care if you throw interceptions. If you're throwing it towards Cooper Cup in a way where he can catch the ball, go right ahead. Get him the ball. They went for I thought it was a brilliant play call. They got killed for it. They said it was very risky. The little wide receiver toss. It was a fourth down play. And this was on the big drive. Yeah, oh my gosh, that was. I didn't like that one. That was not the business. I'm talking about the 4th and 1 play. So we're on the final drive now, and it's 4th down and 1. And they just tried to run the ball up the middle, couldn't do it. Sonny Michel just nothing, right? So then they send Cooper Cup in motion, and then they kind of give him like the little toss right there, and then he plants, and then he cuts. Then he got he got the first down, and that kept the drive alive. And I think that was the moment where the Rams were like, okay, now it's time. The defense did their job. Now it's time for Cooper Cup. So I want to talk about Matthew Stafford because when he was with the Lions, we always saw talent, but there was always this but thing that was attached to him, right? And just he never had that kind of talent like he had this time. Comes to the Rams. We trade for him. Another part of the all-in thing. Yeah. By the way, I'm happy that even though we gave up so much in that, just getting Jared Goff, finding somebody dumb enough to take Jared Goff, that was a win for me. So he comes in, right? The Rams go 79 yards, I think it was, in like 4 minutes and 38 seconds to win the game. Had to have a touchdown. There was no field goals here. He calmed down. I was a little bit nervous because I was like, man, these are kind of games where I've seen Matthew Stafford kind of fold a little bit, right? Where, he'll throw the untimely interception. He'll overthrow a player that's wide open. And he made the plays. I'm not saying that Stafford won the game, but I think that he was very clutch. He was very accurate in how he came about it. And he was targeting Cooper Cup. And give him credit because everybody knew at that point in time it was only going to number 10.
Yeah.
But Stafford put it where only number 10 can get it.
That period of time where McVay's calls, we run the ball, just to run the ball. And Cooper Cup was nowhere to be found. That was what was worrisome for me. Like, And like I said, I had no dog in that fight, but I'm thinking to myself, this guy's like he was your offense. And yeah, Odell Beckham's gone, and they're probably triple teaming it. But you're talking about Eli Apple. You're talking about Eli Apple covering him. I don't. Hey, Kyle. I don't see that being a problem, and it wasn't. I mean, on that last touchdown, why would you only have Eli Apple covering him? That would be my question. Because
yeah, I think it was, but I think it was the Bengals. I think it was their front line, their front set, right, where the Bengals were being really aggressive. They were being really physical up front. They were able to push the Rams back. They did what the Rams thought. I thought the Rams were going to be able to do the whole game. That the Rams weren't able to do until the fourth quarter. The Bengals were doing that the whole game.
Yeah.
Hendrickson was a monster. I mean, the Matthew Stafford. He was. I think Matthew Stafford's wife was jealous with how much he was getting touched up by those guys. They were feeling on him a lot.
They were getting.
Yeah, they were getting close and personal with him.
Yeah.
I think that took away some of the Rams what they wanted to do, right? Because they wanted to kind of go. It goes back to the arrogance and the play calling of McVay, where this stubbornness. I'm going to continue in 3 wide sets, knowing that I no longer have the personnel to stay 3 wide. We're going to continue trying to pass the ball deep. Oh, and then when that's not working, okay, well, let's try to just run the ball up the middle and see what happens there. You can't do that either. But they did figure it out, right? And, Stafford made the plays, Kupp made the plays, got a little bit of help from the referees, which is part of my rant, but I definitely think that they owed us.
They owed you. Okay, so, yeah, maybe they figured it out. Maybe there was no other alternative. Your Aaron Donald and Floyd and Von Miller pretty much put the whole team on their back. Someone's like, we're gonna win this. Because
Floyd was odd. Floyd was playing like his hair was on fire, like the whole game.
Yeah, and I mean, I just think the Rams were lucky to win that game. I honestly did.
They got lucky. I think the defense put them in a position, and the offense did just enough on one drive. Right, it was one drive. They did just enough. Cooper Kupp basically became just
Cooper
who
Kupp.
he is. I mean, he's his route running is absolutely. I got into a social media argument one time with this one guy who he was trying to convince me that Cooper Kupp is not a good receiver, that he's just a byproduct of schematics. And I was like, you can't be serious, right? Like, the amount of separation that Cooper Kupp creates, his route running, his hands, yes, schematics are a part of it. But that is an insult to a receiver as good as Cooper Kupp to say that the only way is because they're scheming him open. I disagree with that. The guy seems like he's always open, and he just was special on that last drive. We get in there, and then I'm just saying, Matthew Stafford, just be patient. Just stay patient. Don't get a little antsy there. And we pulled it off. But definitely, Gladys, if you want to tell me that the Rams got lucky, I will not disagree.
No, I mean, it's part of the game. Luck is an essential part of any game. Yeah.
Well, they say luck is when what? What's that whack saying that people say when preparation meets opportunity?
Yeah. All right. I think I don't want your wife mad at you. So I want
she's cool.
We're gonna, it's VD Day, and I'm sure my rant has. I'm gonna let you do your rant, so you can go in.
Yeah.
Did you get flowers? Did you buy flowers?
I hate Valentine's Day just like you. I'm just married, so I have to.
It's like so much pressure. It's like pressure. It's like so. I always have fresh flowers because I have 2 dog urns, so the flowers are near the dog urns. And usually, I get them like Sunday morning when I like $15. Yesterday they were like $45. I'm like, this is friggin' ridiculous. These are the flowers I get every week that are $15, and you guys are yanking up the to
They're upcharging
$30
you.
for.
They're
Oh
upcharging you like parking at SoFi.
no, shit! Oh, I saw that. The traffic after no one got
Yeah,
home.
I
People,
live about 5 minutes from the stadium, so we was like, okay, we're gonna leave the city. And so I went to my brother's house to watch the game in Ontario because I didn't want any part of that. But some people were like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna make $200 selling a parking space." People were paying it.
and people are paying it. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Valentine's Day is ridiculous.
It
But
is.
go on.
That's my rant. Valentine's Day is ridiculous. It's too much pressure for anyone who listens today and post Valentine's Day. Do not put that much pressure on yourself. Just go with the flow. Just go with the flow.
Yeah, if you do it right, every day is Valentine's Day.
Oh, look at that! It's like so smooth.
My
All right,
rant. So I
go.
want to rant. I
You
want to
should.
rant on the I want to rant on the refs a
The
little
what?
bit, and I want to rant on the refs. I want to
Okay.
rant on the sports media, mainly Skip Bayless,
Ugh.
and
How
the
is he such a
so-called
job?
lifelong Bengal fans who signed a 14-day petition to be a Bengals fan at the AFC Championship game. And all of a sudden, you've been a Bengals fan since 1985, right? And I've been through the lean years. America. So the Super Bowl is the most watched, game. It's the most watched sporting event in America, right?
Oh,
Everybody's
oh,
watching it. You guys, a little bit of
yeah.
everything there. 54. So they did the thing of who America was picking, and then 54% of America was on the Bengals. That's a bunch of new bandwagon fans, and I get it. The Bengals are fun to watch, right? If the Rams weren't playing there, I'd be one of the 54%. But when you become one of those bandwagons, you don't get a chance. You don't have a dog in that race. You're just watching it with a rooting interest. And so this whole thing that the refs gave the Rams the game is total horse crap. Skip Bayless goes out and talks about how the Rams were gifted this game. And I'm like, let's go into that T. Higgins play, the 75-yard bomb where T. Higgins grabs Jalen Ramsey by his face mask and does a body slam that would have made The Rock blush. Now, Jalen Ramsey was out of position, as always, right? He was out of position anyway. He was going to get beat anyway, but it wasn't going to be a touchdown. He grabbed him and cleared him, and there was a no call. There was another no call where there was a pass interference. They didn't call it. So here's the thing. The refs decided that for three quarters that they were going to swallow the whistle and they were just going to let the teams play, which is fine. Okay. That was an advantage to the Bengals because it allowed them to be really physical with the Rams. And to all of the people saying that the Rams were gifted the game because the refs called the holding call, listen, you win a game, the refs can actually cost you to win a game as well by not making a call when it is there. Okay, that was a hold all day long. Cooper Kupp had to score that touchdown twice. And you can't have it both ways. You can't talk about that, how great that play was, that T. Higgins was, and not talk about that missed pass interference and then talk about holding and say that one decided the game. Because when they scored that touchdown, that was the biggest play of the game. That was a 75-yard bomb that sucked the life out of the arena for the Rams. And that was a no call. The play before the holding that got called, that was a no call. And that's what made the one that they actually call. That's what pissed people off because it looked like to everybody, even Rams fans, honest Rams fans like myself, the one that they actually called was the makeup call.
Yeah.
But to the refs, call the game how you see it. Be fair with how you see it, because they do have the power to sway the game. And it's unfortunate that you have a game like that where you have these two teams, mostly the defense, that are just they have everything on the field. Where that's what we're talking about now, is we're talking about the Rams, the refs, the calls that the refs missed because they didn't do their job.
Okay, that was a decent rant. I can get behind that. I I don't know. Like I said, I don't. I mean, it's got to be hard being a ref out there, right? Like, you didn't call the pseudo obvious face mask that
Right.
Jalen Ramsey said when twirling around. But like you said, he was out of position anyway. He wasn't going to stop him, I don't think. And then you didn't call the was it Whitworth? Who moved?
Yeah, it was Whitworth. The false start that wasn't called. That was Whitworth.
He's a big boy. Like, he's a big boy, and you missed that. And to me, that was the makeup call. Like, so we're gonna just replay that game. We missed it. We're just gonna replay that the whole down. When it shouldn't have been a down that had to be replayed because it was obvious that he started. But I don't know that I think refs. I don't know that the Bills fans can say, "Oh, the game was rigged," and I don't know that the Rams fans can say, "Oh, the game," because you know what I mean. It doesn't happen like that to me. You know.
So that wasn't the Rams fans. That wasn't Rams fans or Bagels fans saying that the game is rigged. That's the bandwagoners that jumped on, that bet on the game, and now all of a sudden the Rams didn't cover when that was so-called easy money. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, they didn't cover.
And then because you had people betting the Bengals money line, which, man, that looked like a good bet for a minute.
Wow, for a few minutes, it looked like a good bet. Yeah, but I want to thank everyone who has joined us. I know it's VD Day and people are like, "Oh my God, we're out to dinner. I have to go buy flowers," or "Oh my God, last minute plans." Thank you for stopping in for the day. Thank you for your excellent recap. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Are you still partying?
I am. We won and done. I understand it. I understand what I'm not disillusioned. It's like when we got the when Thanos, right? What did it cost? Everything.
And he brings the Marvel in. That's awesome, right there. Kyle said, "Congratulations on your team's win." Okay, and next week it will be Kyle. I'm not sure what time his show starts. I think it's maybe 8:00. Kyle, what time is your show? And you need to hop on, going for 2, because we have covered everything. We will cover every aspect. I'm still on my Dell because friggin' Mac would not let me. Oh, Kyle doesn't know what time his show starts either. But it will be scheduled, so hop on, listen to Kyle full press coverage. I'm going to try to get the Mac to work, or try to learn how to work the Mac. I'm pretty sure it works. Jay will always be here talking football and sports of all sorts. That's how knowledgeable he is. You can also follow him. You should start following him. He's new to Twitter.
Yeah, I'm new to the Twitter. Yeah, I am. They popped my cherry last week. I'm new to Twitter.
So
I was like, how do you read a DM? Where's that at?
Follow him at jbank727.
Yes.
And talk Rams stuff with him. 8:00 Eastern time. Call show next week, and we will see you the week after. When who knows what we'll talk about? Probably free agents or coaches or something. But happy VD Day. Everyone else, happy VD Day. Tell your wife thank you for letting me come on, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.